Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Grandpa Mark's Hobbies and build update number 2 of our Moebius F100 66 Flareside. I got a lot done on this thing. Let me get the guys out of the way. Even Daisy came in to see what was going on. TJ and Chandler got the engine running, so we're good there. And this thing is starting to show its age. Wow. I'm going to bring you down a little bit, and we'll go over what I did since the weekend. Before we get into everything, I got a question for everybody out there. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think. The rims are sharp. I added the valve stems. I haven't added wheel weights to it yet, but they came out really nice. They weathered up pretty good. I used Tamiya's dark yellow and dry brushed the tires. I think it came out pretty darn good. But my question is, should I use the awesome Ford hubcaps that Moebius put in the kit? Or should I leave them off and just have the open rims? Or should I put like 3 of them on and have one of them missing? Let me know in the comments what you think. So there's that. And now I want to show you the engine here. I got it all weathered up and on and attached. I turned the carb around because, it would have drove me crazy to not have it. And I ended up angling it straight out like that. The kit was saying to put it this way. And when I put it that way, it looked too perfect. And I thought, you know what, that thing's going to get jostled around and messed around. So I turned it. And when I drive fitted everything, I thought it looked pretty good. So I went ahead and glued it in there. But we got fuel line. We have throttle cable. The dipstick. Wires are on. Fuel pump is drilled for the bottom so I can run the fuel lines back into the cab. Of course, a Fram oil filter. A whole lot of weathering with my Weathermaster C and D. I used a bunch of panel liner, all 3 colors. I used the gray, and I used the red too, or brown, red, brown. And I had a blast weathering that engine up. I did the same thing in the bed. I showed you that this weekend. But I did come back. I remembered I had the brown, and I came back and I used some of that in there too. And I had a blast doing that. I talked about weathering the underside and all that in stages, and that's exactly what I did. Started with the frame. I did that. I did all the front and rear suspension parts separate. Then I glued them all on, and I'll come back and I'll do a dusting later before I'm completely finished. Look how nice that muffler came out. That looks pretty good. The shocks are a little too clean. I'll do something with them. But all in all, it looks good. I'm to the point now to where I want to run my brake lines, my e-brake lines. And my e-brake lines, I'm going to run down the side here and up to about here. And then I'll branch them off, and I'll just run one around that way and run around here with a little piece where it pulls back and forth, and I'll make the bracket. I can't find my flying finger, but I'll make the bracket right here to where it pulls back and forth so that you'll have the bracket and then the piece coming up attached to the bracket, and then these pieces where they get pulled and pull the brake in. And then the other brake lines I'll just run up and over. Like I said, the fuel line will come up to the cab. The front brakes, we'll just Hollywood them out. We'll come out here and make them disappear into the frame somewhere. I still have the starter to wire and the alternator to wire. So those will be coming up shortly. I haven't even drilled the alternator. I'm going to drill it straight down on top and just run the wires up and tuck them back around here and just make them disappear against the frame. When I dry fitted this, the body literally is right on top of this thing. There's no play. So if I run those wires down and they'll disappear, they'll look fine. Or I can just bring them up and have them look like they go into the firewall. Either way, it looks good. Now you can see that how deep I drilled out that exhaust. I pushed that one as far as I was afraid to. So there's the chassis and the engine, and I'm super happy with that. Got into a little bit of chrome weathering yesterday, and you can't see it at all on the camera. Let me tilt it down this way. I use the brown, I use the black panel liner, I use the rust and the Weathermaster, I use the oil, I use everything. It looks really good until it's on camera, and then it turned orange. But it really isn't. It looks a lot more rusted than that, and a lot more faded. The camera is really bringing out the chrome on that. So I did nothing on the insides here, where the lights go, because those will still be the clear or the chrome from inside the bulb that'll show. But everything else got weathered on the bumper. Where'd it go? I just got these. The twin I-beam logos, I painted those yesterday. Painted them. I put the decals in them yesterday. I painted the front logo. I still have some touching up to do to that, and then I'll weather them out just like I did the front bumper. But I was half thinking of not putting one on and leaving that hole and running a streak of rust down and just having the one on the driver's side. But we'll see. Those really do look good, though. So I hate to not use them. And they're upside down again. But I hate to not use them. And that front logo, it looked a whole lot better until I tried to make it look better than this yesterday, and I messed it up. So I'll come back and touch up the chrome and the lightning bolt in the gear, and that'll be good. And then again, I'm going to weather it out anyhow. So now let's move on. I got the radiator weathered. That came out pretty good. That's just dry brushed. That's all I did to this, and then I added the radiator cap. I still have to add the overflow, but I won't do that till I put it in the car. Now for the interior. I'm super stoked with how this came out. First, the dash. I like how the dash came out. I weathered it up and got it dirty, to the point to where I didn't want it too dirty, because it is a dash. I did put some stuff on there and ketchup marks and things like that, but that came out really nice. The top, it's lost its luster for sure. I'm sure if we took something to wipe it down, it'll bring the luster right back, but for right now, it's pretty well done in, along with this filthy interior. This guy must be a ditch digger or something, or but it is dirty in there, and I had a blast doing it. And I'm not quite done with the seat. I got it too dirty. But what I did is I put a panel liner in there. I used both the black and the gray panel liners and got it wet. I mean, I got it to where it was soaked. And then I came back with my pastels, and I took I call it desert yellow. I don't know what color it is. And my tweezers, and I just held it up above it. Now watch this, if you can. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, here, we'll do it on this. Bring in a little bit. And what I did is I just lightly did this to it. All over that seat. And I guess I did it heavier than I should have. Because that's what I did on the dashboard and everything else. And it worked out really good. The seat's just a little bit too muddy for me. But then I just came back with a brush and literally dusted it out. And it's that easy to make it dusty. It just really is. I found it works better to shave the pastels right down on it, even though you get them all over your hands, and then by the time the day's over, your jeans got orange and yellow and blues on it. But I found it's easier to do it that way than it is to take the brush like I used to do and try to pull the stuff up onto the brush. This way I get more random marks and swirls and things like that when I do it. So that's going to be my new way of doing the weathering inside the, on everything. I haven't done any pastels on this because I'm manhandling it too much. Once I'm done, I will dust these out a little bit and let them go. Right now, what I did is I I dry brushed this, and then I came back and I sanded all the heavy parts of the dry brush back off. And I think that looks good. It's worn down. I will come back in these two spots where I blew clean through, and I'll hit them with the Weather Master with a little bit of the oil and a little bit of the rust, and that'll make those look just like that one did. And that I like. That looks like just like the paint started to blow through. So there's the hood, since we got carried away there. The same thing over here. I scratched this on purpose and a couple other places on this side. And I always do that on the driver's side just because you're coming out of the driver's side. You're going to stick your feet up here. Your keys are going to scratch it. Your knees up against it and everything. But you can see here where I sanded this down to the bare. And then I came back and I put a little bit of the Weather Master rust on it. And then I came back after I dry brushed it and sanded some more, and I blew through a little bit more on this side. So look at the difference between where the rust is and where it's fresh. And like I said, I'll rust that back out. I don't like that look. I like this a lot better. And then this side, I just did it light, and I watched what I was doing. So I only blew through a couple of places, very light, didn't get all the way down to the plastic. And I didn't prime this because the plastic's a good enough color. But there's that, and this was a blast. I always say it's harder to make something look dirty than it is to make it look clean. And it's the truth, because I look and I think, oh, I want to do this. Well, then I got to figure out how to do it. But here we got the body, the main body. I'm going to pull you back a little bit. You can see this came out really cool. I blew through just barely on that. And I'm using 3000 grit sandpaper on this, so I have a lot more control. And then I came in around here where the weather's going to hit it all the time and blew through that. I blew through the high spots here. And again, I'll come back and I'll weather all that with the Weathermaster C. The sides, I like. They came out great. Again, now you can see that that's more chrome and dirty than anything else. A couple of scratches on the door where he's got his arm on there, where the keys hit. I did remember to drill out the hole for the mirror, and I am going to run some dirt down below that. Same with this side. I drilled it out. It's still too small, which is fine. I'd rather be small than big, and I'll work it up until I'm to the right size. But then we come to the engine bay. And again, I did the pastels over the black. And this black is, again, artist black. I let it dry. I hit it with quick shine. Brushed the quick shine on, and yeah, quick shine will smooth out really nice just brushed on. Then I came in with the Weathermaster C, the pastels and things like that, and then just at the end I came in with some of the panel liner and left it so I'd have a little bit of oil marks on there. So I have a little bit of glossy marks, and man, I'm telling you, I really wish you could see that. There we go, where it's dark and then lightens up around it. That worked out so cool for me. But I'm very happy with that. The firewall looks good. It's rusted out really nice. And I got the hood now to fit perfect for me. So there's no teeter-totter on there. It's just sitting down nice. And I like how the weathering here kind of shows both, it just lucked out, but it hits both of them at the same spot on both sides. And that was unplanned, it just happened. So next I got to come back and weather that out. I'm not going to do anything with the inside here. I'm going to leave that go. Just nobody's going to see it. Then we got our dash. I still have some chrome to put on this thing. But I wanted to bring you back here because the next video, this is going to be done. It's going super quick. And I've wanted to show you guys something that Gallery sent me now for a while, and I think you'll be interested, so stick around here. You know, everybody knows about the paint markers and how nice they work. Well, they sent me a paint eraser, and I think I talked about this before, but I didn't talk about what happened to me the other day. And if you look on here, and I'm probably upside down, I am. If you look on these, they say Ford on them. And I wanted to paint that Ford on there in the worst way. So I tried multiple different ways to do it, practicing on the sides and everything. And if you look, you know, the paint goes on these things really nice. These paint pens work great. But I'm just too shaky to do that. That is as tiny gets. And I just couldn't get it to go down. And by the time I was like, the heck with this, that paint was already dry on there. So I thought, well, here's a good try for the paint marker. And I just took it and went over it. Got my Q-tip. And it came off on the clear. Now, I did pull some of the red off, but you can't tell. So, I mean, I'm awesome. I was so stoked because I thought they were ruined. And the way that paint went down in between the Ford, it just spread out like crazy. And it wasn't the paint marker, because I tried that and I cleaned that off. And then I tried hand brushing, and that didn't work. And everything just was going south on me in a bad way. But Gallery saved the day with those erasers. And let me show you something, though, with these things. We'll grab this. It's been dry for a long time. And this is Tamiya's acrylic. I don't even remember if I have quick shine over the top of it. But if I work that in there, it'll take off that old paint. Let me get it off of here first. So these are sweet. Really nice for small stuff like this, where you don't want to go crazy, but you want to take the paint back off. So mistakes, yeah, it takes them up really quick. And thank you very much for that. And now, last thing, and I will let you go. This is Gary's paint pen. I painted the silver with it last night, and it went on. I've always used Sharpies, and it went on easier than a Sharpie. And I'll show you what the tip on this one. That tip is nice and pointy on there, and I was able to put it on an angle and get right in those grooves. And I got all the way around with that, and man, it painted it in there nice, and it's not coming off. And where I messed up, because I'm not perfect by any means. Seems like anymore I'm getting worse and worse with the paint. But I came in here with just one of my pointy Q-tips, went up against it and wiped it out, and came back over it real quick, and it doesn't leave any mark on there. Now, I wouldn't let it dry because, like I said, man, this is dried solid, and there's nothing coming off. But if you get to it real quick, it works great. And I started thinking, would that work on clear parts? And I have just a clear sprue, and I want to see if it fogs it. So I'm going to come in here where it's already fogged. I got two different sets of lights, and I want to use these anyhow. So let's use this clear light, and I'm going to paint right on the clear. And dang it, that's cold. Now I want to try something. This is the first time I did this. That's gold, but on this clear, danged if that doesn't look just like amber for turn signal. Well, there we go. I got a new flashy gold is my new turn signal, or like a yellow fog light. It almost looks yellow. But I'm kind of talking here, letting that get a chance to dry. I want to see if this fogs that clear. So let's take this back off. And I'm going to go nuts on it here. I really want to get that wet. So there, took that off. I'll come back and clean that in a minute. It's still showing just a little bit. Let's try it again. Let me clean this off, because I did have a bunch on there. So let's hit it again. And what I'm looking for more than anything else is this going to fog my lens? And I can see right now it is not. Now what it'll do overnight, we'll have to see, and I will put a comment in the comments. But that took that right back off. No problem. No fog at all. Usually when it fogs quick. But that looks good. And man, I like that amber. So there's a win right on the thing here. And with that, I'm going to let y'all go. New paint eraser. Pretty cool. I'll get into that. I love these. I use these a lot. The carbs and stuff like that. These things are so easy to use. But with that, I will let you go. What I want to do right now, though, is I want to tell you not to forget about our 24-hour build with myself, Lennis, Bruce, and Jason. We're going to be online for 24 hours straight, October 11th. Again, thanks, Gallery. If you're going to get anything from Gallery, use Grandpa Mark in the coupon code, and you'll get 10% off your order. Let's thank our veterans, our first responders, and active duty men and women, because without them, we can't do this. And don't forget about Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Jason, Mike, and Bruce doing the Automotive Model Car Livecast. I took a sneak peek of their YouTube thing, and it looks pretty good for this week, too. So with that, I'm going to get back to work here, try to finish this thing up. I'll let y'all go. Y'all have a great day, a better tomorrow, and thank you very much for watching. And build update number 2 of our Try that again. These are pretty sharp. I weathered them out with how about if we try this again?